So we have a really talented panel here to talk about not just the cyber threats that small businesses are exposed to, but more importantly, how small businesses can react to these cyber threats, to mitigate them, to recover from them, and most importantly, protect against reputational harm. So the first question I want to pose to the panelists, and I'll start with Rashad, is what type of cyber threats are small businesses most vulnerable to these days?
So at NJM, one of the things we've been doing for 5 to 6 years is every year we present to the senior leadership of the organization and to the board of directors a threat overview, cyber threat overview. And we've seen a large evolution in our presentation over the last 3 years, but especially over the last year in the shift from what I call attacks on the confidentiality of information, going after credit card information for the small business, medium-sized businesses, and now it's evolving into the ransomware attacks, which, although the issue is they're going to perform a technical attack on you, really the objective is to put you in a situation where you can't get business done. And you're going to try to quickly resolve that by paying a ransom. So it's really that shift from confidentiality to either an integrity or more of an availability attack. It's really come full circle.
I've been tracking ransomware since I first heard about it, maybe, a little over a year ago, maybe a little before that. I've seen it evolve, and the way it's been evolving within the past 6 months has been so quick. It really started out years ago where you'd get ransomware on your device and it would merely lock your screen. There wouldn't be any encryption of files. So if you could work your way around that, you could get past it. It was more to scare you. It started up popping up a message saying, oh, this is the FBI, you need to pay us, we found something illegal on your computer. And I know because friends of mine would contact me all freaked out. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Well, now the way the variants are evolving, and because you no longer need that technical background, you don't need to be a computer programmer to pull off a cyber extortion scam like this one. You merely just have to find the tool and either rent it out or purchase it from the hacker who did develop it. And then you can point it in what direction you want it to go, and you have victims. We're seeing a lot of it being targeted right now to police departments, healthcare sector, anywhere where there is valuable data and limited time to deal with it. And the hackers are getting very, very intelligent because they're not going to charge an outrageous amount of money. They're not going to encrypt your files and demand $1 million because they know chances are you don't have it. They're going to keep the costs so low that it's more feasible to pay the ransom than it is even to bring an IT team in to help you. And they know you're going to be losing money each day that your files go encrypted. So they're making the money, and a lot of people are just opting to pay because it's more feasible to do that. So that we're seeing a lot of that where people's backs are up against the wall, and if it's between going out of business and paying a couple $100s to save your files, people are going to opt to pay the couple $100.
It's an easy way for people to make a buck, right? I'll tell you a story. So last fall, I decided I wanted to start doing some email marketing. So I got this platform to do email marketing on. And by mistake, I was working on a response email. By mistake, I hooked up a list to that email. And so when I was testing, would I get the white paper that I requested, that list went out to 5,000 people. Right? This email that said, requested white paper attached. And the body was, hit the link below to receive the white paper requested. I sent it out 3 times. So it went out to about 15,000 people. 152 people actually hit that link. If I send out to 150,000 people, 1,500, I'm inside 1,500 computers now. And so I think that, I talk about the last inch. We have to protect ourselves by talking to our employees, teaching them that click is what certainly a big exposure, and watching what's in that seat, and just protecting ourselves from, if I don't know what it is, if I didn't request it, it says requested, and they still hit the link. So I think you have to watch that last inch.
And I think we've done a good job of kind of laying out the cyber threat landscape, and a lot of these topics were covered by Tim as well. So I want to focus on what to do about it, right? How do small businesses react to this new phenomenon? it's obviously not just a technology problem, it's also a people process problem as well. And to Michelle's earlier question about the amount of outsourcing that takes place, particularly at the small business level, given the degree to which small businesses don't necessarily have the budget or the personnel to sufficiently secure their IT infrastructure. What role do small business owners and leaders need to play in order to manage essentially their outsourced IT from a security perspective?
Sure. No, and that's a very good point, because small business owners are consumed with running their business. And that's the fundamental problem, in that they want to focus on, running their legal practice, accounting practice, manufacturing, whatever it might be. And they depend on outside resources or attempt to hire them internally. But ultimately, the risk is there. So even though you're using an outside party to provide technical resources to you, the risk ultimately is fundamentally back with the organization themselves. And so what they need to do is they need to make sure that they're making good choices. And that's why, for example, the panel that NJBIA is putting together, allowing IT managers in the community to share best practices, is going to be incredibly important. Because if there's no other message that gets across today, I think it's important for people to understand this is not some sort of insurmountable mountain.
I think the list is right? It's first line of defense is firewall, antivirus, content filtering, intrusion monitoring. All those things can be provided to a small to mid-sized business for $5 to $10 per user per month. I mean, it's not overly expensive. Microsoft's got an add-on to Exchange Online for $2. They've got advanced threat protection, $2 per user per month, $24 a year. It's going to monitor all the links and all the attachments in your email before it delivers it to your inbox. A couple bucks a month. You certainly. We pay a lot more for other types of insurance. I mean, this is the insurance against cyber attacks.
So I'm going to cheat a little bit, because there's a sheet already that has a lot of this stuff in place. And so please stop by the table. We have a sheet, and the good news is the vast majority of that sheet is free. Meaning, if you have Windows Server, which the vast majority of businesses do, there's a lot of stuff that you can do to harden Windows Server alone, just by itself. Windows desktops as well, App Locker, a wide variety of other tools there that you can use. Beyond that, it's not so much the tools per se, because I think almost every business has a firewall now. I mean, I know periodically we still have an argument with people as to whether a Comcast modem is a firewall or not, but most people have a firewall. The problem, though, is it probably was treated as a set-it-and-forget-it device that they plugged in, and it's kind of just completely open. So it's like the equivalent of spending a lot of money on a very, very fancy alarm system that you never arm. I can relate to that, too, in my house. We almost never arm it because it's just too much trouble. So, or we don't know how to do it properly. So firewall, for sure. Antivirus, unfortunately, only catches, I think the most recent figures from a similar variety, like 20 or 30% of the things. 30 days later, it'll catch 80 to 90% of things because it knows about everything by then, but it's too late. You don't know about it. So you have to have, this malware protection is a given. You have to have some sort of content filter to protect you from these links. I'm pretty good with computers. But I don't have administrative rights on my computer. I use a content filter, and it's not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I'm trying to do so many things. I don't have the time to sit there and overanalyze. So I'm protecting myself from myself.
And along those lines, with social engineering, one of the things we did, and there's a lot of resources out there on the internet. If you don't feel that maybe you have that capability in-house, do a little Googling, and there's a lot of presentations from vendors or other security professionals on social engineering that you can reuse and recycle. Some of the managed security providers have some of that content already packaged up for you if you want a little bit more professional. There's a lot of courseware out there on social engineering, and information security, which is relatively inexpensive to procure. So I would definitely suggest you take that route. But at NGM, one of the things we do is we have a yearly information security week. So, maybe that's an incentive for maybe not so much small business, but medium-sized businesses to implement, pick some time in the fall. October is Cybersecurity Month, so you might want to follow that. And, do contests, do trivia, get your folks involved, because it's not just about their security at work, but also about the security in their personal life. Everybody's working with computers at home or with mobile devices.
I always use the analogy of don't be low-hanging fruit. Essentially, if you live in a neighborhood and you're the only one who doesn't lock their car at night and everyone else does, whose car do you think is going to get stolen? The one that's not going to make any noise. If you don't set the alarm, you don't lock your car, your car is going to be targeted. So do what you can to, close any holes in your network. It's not going to be feasible to take care of it, everything, because every day there's a new vulnerability, a new attack vector. But, do the basic common sense things to protect your network, and that really encompasses educating your employees. That's why part of my job with the NJ Kick is that we provide our members with this information, the stuff that we're seeing, and we actually break it down out of technical terms to terms that executive levels can understand, everyone from top to bottom, because it is everybody's responsibility.
Rashad, did you have a comment?
Yeah, just to follow up on the social, so the white hat social engineering of where you guys are testing your folks before the bad guys are. So we provide a product called Security as a Service, which has the hardware firewalls, but this is it's a very overused term, but the best firewall is the human firewall. These are going to look not just kind of legit. These guys are getting really good. I mean, they are going to be indistinguishable from regular emails. Even the hovering over the link thing it gets a little bit tough with all of these kind of abbreviated linking services and things like that. If, for example, if you all go home back to your office and get a LinkedIn request from Dave, and I know I can send it to all of you guys, and I know you know who he is, and you might want to know him a little bit better. Some of you, and you're all security professionals or IT or just attended a cybersecurity conference, and I guarantee you at least 10% of you will click on that link. Just because there's context. A little bit something about Dave, and it's going to be his picture. I can find his picture very easily on LinkedIn. So you need to be doing that with your staff. So that way you can identify this, and so therefore we can give you all the firewalls in the world and make sure they're locked down. But you need to strengthen your human firewall.